All right, Kenneth, talk to me.
So Carson Wentz today named starter for the Commanders against the Browns. Is benching Heineke the right move here? Is this some Riverboat Ron type of stuff?
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's totally ridiculous, and it reeks of this one coming down from on high. Look, the team plays for Heineke, and Washington was never going to have this big explosive offense. You know who they don't play for? They don't play for Wentz. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe there's an injury we don't know about. I didn't understand his insertion last week. I don't understand with the season on the line why you're pulling the guy who helped you win 6 out of 7. And then what? You pull him because he had a red zone turnover against the G-Men and then they lose to the Niners, who's a Super Bowl team? Kenny, I'll never understand it, which leads me to believe maybe there's something going on I don't know about.
I'll take it. It helps a team like us. News coming out that the Broncos GM, George Payton, is no longer going to be running football operations, meaning the new coach will be. So with names circulating like Dan Quinn, Sean Payton, Frank Reich, is anybody going to be able to take control of this thing and take control of Russ?
All right, here's your problem. First of all, George Payton was hired the same offseason as Brad Holmes. And I think Payton interviewed here. The idea that it's his fault that this has gone this way, I don't know, man. Russell Wilson has kind of turned into a pumpkin, looks out of shape, alienated everybody. And if you think George Payton just gave him that contract without approval from ownership, approval from people above him, to answer your question, if I'm a coach with real prospects around the league, why would I ever want to inherit Russell Wilson?
You know what's funny is every list that I've seen online of potential job openings in the NFL, that one's the one that's supposed to be, quote, most coveted.
It's
I
not.
don't see how that could be
The most
case.
coveted would have been Los Angeles if the Chargers didn't make the playoffs. There's nothing coveted about a quarterback who's a total weirdo and who's owed the better part of $200 million of guaranteed money over the next 4 seasons.
Now, next as we approach the NFL playoffs, we're looking at a team like the Dallas Cowboys, as we do every year. This is a ritual. Is this the year that they finally make a Super Bowl? Because this is what every year they've been telling us.
I can't do it.
It's Super Bowl.
I can't. Between their performance against the Texans, they get the fortune of having Jalen Hurts out against their showdown against the Eagles. They still need to survive. They still almost lost to Gardner Minshew. I can't do it. I just don't believe they're going to go to Philly in the playoffs and win that game. Now, if Jalen Hurts is out, all bets are off. But Dak still bothers me. The untimely turnovers, I can't do it.
So you're like me. It's believe it when you see it type of
Pretty
thing.
much. It's where I've arrived at.
So speaking of the Cowboys and the Eagles, 2 hours before that Jalen Hurts news dropped, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a flood of smart money that came in betting on the Cowboys in that game before even the news was broken by Schefter.
Yep.
Is this the kind of thing you look at when you're betting on games as far as like the sharps or the smart bettors?
I mean,
as far as trends?
You can try, but I mean, Kenny, look, all I said, I talked about it on Cash the Ticket. If you don't think the books and you don't think people out there have information that we don't have, then you don't get it. Like, by the time the news breaks, it's going to be too late. That's how it works. And the line was 4.5 or 5. That money floods in. It kicks it to 6 or 6.5. And what happens? Difference between a win, a push, or a loss. So, yeah, Kenny, you do look for it. But as I've said, the very best in the history of Earth would kill their Nona to hit 60% of games. Nona, dead, 60%. That's a hard road. It's why it's an entertainment product.
It was just funny to see all that money flood in before the news even broke. That's crazy.
And you're seeing it with bowl games too, by the way. Like right now, the UCLA game that's going to be played tomorrow, that line's moving all over the place. Nobody knows if DTR is going to play, UCLA's quarterback. They don't know if Bobo's going to play, who's going to be an NFL player at tight end. They don't know if Charbonnet is going to play for Michigan fans, transfer running back to UCLA. And Pitt is down 8 of their top 12 players.
Yeah, I think if you're betting on any of these games, you're a lunatic.
Okay, then.
Also, Nick Sirianni not ruling out Jalen Hurts for Week 17. Does Coach Mike Valenti start Hurts in either of these games, or does he just let him rest?
No, I'm going to play him if possible. Now, that doesn't mean I call a lot of QB powers. It doesn't mean I play him all 4 quarters. I am not going to do the rest, go into the playoffs on ice. Not doing it. I saw what happened to the Colts years ago. I have PTSD. Yes, I'm playing my guys.
So Joe Burrow winning the AFC Player of the Week for the 5th time in his career. We've seen what a hot Joe Burrow can look like going into the playoffs. Do you see it translating in a similar way with these with this top-heavy AFC?
Why don't we just do this? Start right here, right now. Are they beating the Bills this weekend in Cincinnati? Bills minus 1.5.
No? Question mark?
I'm asking.
They could. I'll say just for the sake of this conversation, yes.
If you're asking me to pick a team that can go to Arrowhead and win or could go to Orchard Park and win, it's Cincinnati. I just think Joe Burrow's that guy. He's different, man. He's everything you would dream the number 1 overall pick would be. A transformative player, just changes your entire franchise. To where now the Cincinnati Bengals, who are basically the Lions with better helmets, the Bengals have become a team I could see going to the Super Bowl 2-3 times in the next decade, all because of him.
So before today, the question originally was going to be about the Vegas Raiders having themselves a decision to make with one Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Because of his $40.4 million injury guarantee. But I guess they just did that because he's just got benched. So does that mean he's probably pretty much going to be cut? I don't think he's tradable.
Yeah, but see, this is the problem. A year ago, Derek Carr, with a healthy supporting cast, leads you to the playoffs. This year, Hunter Renfrow misses most of the year. Darren Waller misses most of the year. The team's totally dysfunctional. I don't like the idea that now Derek Carr is the problem. I don't buy that. The problems in Vegas run way deeper. But yeah, no, he's done. He done.
Speaking of people who might be done, Mac Jones is quickly becoming the NFL's biggest villain. I don't know if you see what he's been up to.
Yeah, he's a dirty player.
Dirty hit on Eli Apple, sliding, kicking his feet up, trying to hit other players. Is he quickly becoming one of the dirtiest players in the league, quietly?
Yeah, and you don't associate it with a quarterback. The other thing, Mac, you're a second-year quarterback who's not that good. Stop yelling and screaming at everybody. How about his behavior on the sidelines? Acting like he's Tom Brady. Very weird to me. It's a weird situation in New England altogether. And again, just look at, you've got a defensive coordinator calling offensive plays because the Patriots don't want to have to pay Matt Patricia if they named him OC. Talk about a weird way to develop your quarterback. Hi, here's a guy dressed as Grimace with a pencil in his ear. He'll be calling your plays. Wait, what?
Does it seem the whole Matt Patricia thing was maybe doomed from the start?
You think?
I mean,
do you think?
A failure here, moving over there. He's a defensive guy doing offensive things.
But again, you saw Vance Joseph go out, and he was the defensive coordinator. He goes out and he goes, well, look, playing the Patriots, it's like they have a defensive guy calling offensive plays. Actually, Vance, that's true.
So Mike McCarthy came out and said that he's talking about Micah Parsons. He's done so much. He impacts the game. He wants him to be the defensive player of the year this year.
He is.
A lot of people think he's going to be Nick Bosa. Would you? I think he's plus 1,000 or plus 600 or something to win. Would you take that bet? And does Mike McCarthy have a point here?
No, he does. I think there's recency bias because Nick Bosa's really turned it on of late. But Micah Parsons has been incredible, and he's a game wrecker. He's deployed everywhere. Hand in the dirt, standing up on the edge, lined up over the A-gap, coverage, fumbles, picks, sacks. He's the closest thing I've seen to Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, he's going to win this award many, many times.
I just feel like he's like, look, I'd vote Micah Parsons Defensive Player of the Year, and I'd vote Sauce Gardner the Defensive Rookie of the Year. But that's me.
Sauce is the heavy favorite. I think Hutch is plus 500 or 400, depending where you look.
Hutch has got his year stabilized. He's had some really good moments. He's a good football player. But Sauce has turned into the best corner in football, where teams, including yours, didn't even look his direction. They just went, no, thank you.
And that is In Football Today.